from small to large, 5-acre park to 25 acres fragile ecosystem, to what a 100-acre Tekkadi's land, a natural resource, and what it means to the city's developmental ideologies. We begin with a small 5-acre metro eco park in Raveth, an peculiar case example where a newly designed park becomes a stifled pocket adopted during the design process, creating a sense of belonging amongst the community, which is now fighting to save it. It teaches us that it's not about the scale or size of a feat, but about the values that we dispense to it. Let's invite our first speaker for Pune Diaries, Dhanashri Kulkarni. Dhanashri ma'am is a landscape architect, a trekker, a fitness freak, and an artist. She is a practicing landscape architect holding a master's degree in landscape architecture from the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. She has served as a visiting faculty at multiple architecture schools in Pune, where she taught landscape architecture and architectural history. She is a partner and principal architect at Studio Q Design. Her landscape practice focuses on working for various government projects in the public realm, including public parks. Recently, she was shortlisted for the Wade Asia Awards for the Multi-Activity Center for Pune Police. She has been an active member of ISOLA. From 2018 to 2024, she served as honorary treasurer for the ISOLA Maharashtra chapter. She promotes a green and healthy lifestyle and experiments with homegrown food products. About the Metro Eco Park project, this 5-acre public park project by Pune Maha Metro and Pimpri-Chinchwad Municipal Corporation aims to create an urban forest Upavan using native species to study their interrelationship and their behavioral patterns. The plan includes promoting biodiversity and managing water sustainably by using the site's topography. Despite challenges, this case study showcases how community engagement has played a crucial role in protecting and maintaining the park. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Simran, so much. Good morning, everybody. I'll be talking about Metro Eco Park. What is an eco park? As per I googled the definition, one definition which was apt to our project was, these are landscape with high nature conservation and environmental protection ambitions. So let me tell you a story. This is just a story of our Metro Eco Park. The project came to us as compensatory tree plantation project by Pune Metro. They had given us a reference of similar plantation done by Metro Department in Nagpur near Ambazari Lake. They had given this as a reference to us. This was a unique opportunity that a landscape architect was called and appointed for this kind of a work. Otherwise, it's taken care of by the forest department generally. For me, this was very important as the site was placed in a highly urbanized neighborhood, and yet I wanted to replicate the idea of a forest, since that is what we as citizens aspire for in a city. The brief given to us was only in regards to compensatory planting, but we generated a program which could offer more to people through design, and hence the idea of urban forest materialized. So what you see is the site in 2017. The undulating land profile generated natural depressions. The site had a drop of 3 meters on the northern side. You can see it there, which divide the site into an upper area and the lower area. We understood how we could manipulate the slopes and the gradients. During the monsoon season, few areas with water puddles suggested spots which could be reinforced as potential water retention systems. The parched landscape during the rest of the year with emergent growth post the rainfall was a typical vegetation pattern, Here we see Cyanotis blooming. There were only 2 kika trees on the site. Cyanotis is something we see on Kaspathar. So the idea and the zoning. As you see, the site was divided into the upper area and lower area. We had just proposed circulation network pathways to connect this site. The idea was to reinforce the existing hydrological pattern. The idea was to reinforce the existing hydrological pattern of the site to create a sustainable water management system. Hello, okay, yeah. The surface runoff calculation showed that the water recharged and stored could be about 93.3%, which we could use for irrigation purpose. The lower retention pond hence was designed to carry a capacity of almost 26 lakh litre. When we actually submitted the sheet to Metro, that is why they were convinced with that idea that they could go ahead with this kind of a design. These are the preliminary sections through the site. Interestingly, we thought we could have a deck wherein we could appreciate the whole site. The zoning strategy for plantation was to create a multi-layered, multi-strata planting, thereby mimicking the idea of forest. Hence, we broadly zoned the whole area into shade, shadow trees, dense vegetation trees, fragrant trees, orchard. This was also how we could explain the Metro people, otherwise they wouldn't have understood what we are trying to do. So the broad zoning suggests we actually had planted almost around 1,000 plus species, which are of 1,000 plus trees with 172 species, which are naturalized, and almost 90% are natives. A thought for micro level placement of trees was also achieved to have maximum sunlight, with hexagonal patterns for central area and linear patterns for the edges. Maybe this was our way of mimicking Miyawaki principles. So this is what we have proposed and planted on site. You see fruit trees with avla covered, babe, jamun, mango, chiku, jangli jalebi, rita. You have all sorts of plants which we could find in our nearby location of 30-kilometer radius. Procurement of this plant was also a challenge, and of course, being a public park and program only for compensatory planting, the budgets were constrained. So the construction intervention was kept to minimum, with only pathways created with curbs and rammed up. The topsoil was put back to tree pits, and even the compound walls were done in grow blocks. So what you see is the plantation. This is done in 2018. And that is when actually COVID struck. Metro had already completed their work of planting, their job was over. PCMC had handed over the site to Metro to develop for 5 years, so they also were not a party to this. So I was really worried that this being a public park, there was actually nobody to take care of the project. Community engagement I thought was crucial here. So I initially started connecting intentionally with neighborhood communities. We formed a Metro Eco WhatsApp group, which initially started with 5 people and grew to 75, making them aware of this project, and they too very well responded to this and started documenting the project. So this is what is documented by people. Interestingly, you see these are the emergent and ephemeral species that grow all along the site. This is documented by people. You can see ground orchids and ceropegias also here at the site. Butterflies were also documented by people. Some other insects and animals. So in 2017 we had only seen titwi, that is the lapwing bird. Now we almost have around 10 to 12 birds that we have documented, that too in 2022. So me along with this group, we decided how we could go ahead and take this project ahead. So I called upon people we came together with the MEP group, and we decided that we could have some community engagement programs like celebrating World Environmental Day, export site visits to talk about diversity of the parks. We also thought we could take this to corporate people, corporate engagement through CSR funding, celebrating cultural events, setting up a nursery, children's workshop and programs, other programs like making booklets to talk about the tree anatomy. So this is in 2022, wherein we actually called all the neighborhood people around there. They came over, we actually told them what was the importance of the site that was coming up. We also felicitated the young green warriors who had planted their first tree on the site. This was a way of associating and creating an ownership for people for that place. Okay, so here actually I forgot to mention, but Brownleaf also collaborated with us, Aditi Devdar, who actually did a leaf donation drive on that day. Then there were children's workshop, there were field visit with experts, people talking about how the ecology was important and what we are trying to achieve through this project. There were plantation drives. This is corporate connect for CSR funding. Here BMC software people actually did a plantation drive. What you see in the first image is our own Ganer Cochlospermum blooming, which became a selfie point for the people over there. So you see nature awareness workshops. We set up a nursery on site, and we created these booklets which could tell about the tree anatomy, how the leaf look like, how the this was all for people to understand whatever they have planted on site and how it would look eventually. This is our site in 2022. The detention pond, the viewing decks, River pond, Barclays swales. This is how it is being done. This is the transition of the biosphere along the 3-meter drop. This is how it was initially, and this is how we came to. When all this was happening, and this was really a happy place for people, the park was flourishing. This is in 2025, April 2020. This is how it looks right now. Suddenly we come to know that the entire plot is handed over to Collector of Pune, which in turn has been handed over to Election Commission of India to construct that godown. And they demarcated their plot boundary which overlapped our site. We documented that about 200 saplings, shrubs and trees will be uprooted for construction of the new boundary. So in protest, we went to various authorities, environmentalists, bureaucrats, explaining the situation to them. A small success came in when they changed the layout of the godown area to keep the site boundary intact but sealed the park entirely for public access. So what you see is that overlap, they actually changed the plan, but the park is now sealed for the public access. Park sealed by Pune collector with notice put up on the main gate, that is September 23. NGT passed an order to maintain the park, that was November 23. People went to NGT also. All this has implications of funds. Where are we going to get funds to do on this kind of work? And a series of protests began. So This is 23 Jan 24, where people actually started a human strike chain for 1 week. People were actually sitting in front of the park, and there was a lot of aggression. They were telling passerby what is happening in the park and what we should do. This is people sitting. Look at this. The park, because it was closed and the saplings, newly planted saplings, needed water, people actually bought a self-funded tanker and put water into the park from outside. So this is what. There are handicapped people also who are supporting this mission. They went to an extent where on 11 February people did a collective Mundan program to talk about this project. These are protests done by children in front of the park. People, when all this was happening, but still everything was in vain, there were a lot of media coverage. Say, you can see the media coverage over here. There were false panchanamas that were put up. The site was shown barren entirely when they proposed the plan for the go down. People protested against this. There was a lot of media coverage. And finally, when everything was not happening, people like Prashantji Raut, Vikas Badolia and few others came together to file a PIL against State Election Commission of India, PCMC, Municipal Corporation, PCNDDA. All these were they are being filed. Prashant is over here. Say hi to people over here. This is a very gratifying experience for me. But here I must mention our green warrior, Mr. Vikas Badolia. He is also here, who is actually a software engineer, but has been a sole mobilizer of this story. He has written to PMO, on personal levels he has written to PMO, filed almost 40 to 50 RTIs, gets threat calls, almost on daily basis he gets threat calls, and still is persistently working towards this project. I just asked him one day, आप ये सब क्यों कर रहे हो? Because he can answer, but he said, मेरी बेटियों ने यहाँ पे पेड़ लगाए हैं. Thank you.